Welcome everyone to Cisco Canada's Virtual Kitchen. Really excited again today to be able to interview some of our customers and hear their stories, what this past year has been like. We all know it's been really challenging and a lot of different things that people have had to do differently that maybe they hadn't before. So we're excited today to bring you customer stories, listen to what they've been through, ask some questions. We are live through all of our networks, but also you can ask questions through our comment bar on Facebook or LinkedIn, and we'd be happy to share those with our customers and with our listeners. So very excited today. So I'm just going to jump right into it because we want to make this all about our customers right now and about the people in this industry that are continuing to strive and drive forward through this pandemic. So my first customer on today's show, customer guest, I guess, is Cheryl. So Cheryl, welcome to the show. I'm just going to pull this.
Thank you very much.
There you are.
Great to be here.
Hello. So Cheryl, the Old Triangle Irish Ale House.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been around?
We've been around. This is our 21st year. We started in 2000, so it's been a while.
It's been a while. And I'm guessing you didn't expect this past year to be like what it was.
No, we're a traditional Irish bar and restaurant. We started in the year 2000. My husband's from Ireland, so we're pretty close to our roots, and we're a family business. Both of our children, who are now grown, also work in the business, so we really are an Irish family business. And 2020 was interesting. We actually announced, ordinarily on St. Patrick's Day, which is of course our largest day of the year, we open at 7 a.m. With a big Irish breakfast and live music. We just go all day. And when we open at 7, people start lining up at about 4 in the morning. So this year on St. Patrick's Day, because COVID was kind of becoming a thing, we decided that, well, maybe we'd open it at 9 a.m. instead of 7 on St. Patrick's Day. And as it turned out, the television cameras were all in live at 7 o'clock to wait and see what was going to happen. And instead we announced that we weren't going to open on live TV.
Oh, no.
A decision that we made 5 minutes before we went live. So it's been a ride this year.
Wow. You know what? We're excited about when you hear about earlier we're chatting, just the fact that you're continuing to move forward. You guys are back open right now.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that you learned through the times when you were closed and you had to keep moving forward? What drove you to keep moving forward?
I think our staff. I think that we learned, the biggest thing that we all really missed was our staff. A lot of our staff have been around a long time. We have kind of a full-time professional core, front and back of the house. And I think being separated from them, it felt like our family was missing. And as I said, we are a family business. So, that kind of kept us, it was tempting halfway through and still is some days, honestly, just to say, forget it, we're done with this. But I think that's probably our motivation, our staff, and we miss our customers, so.
Yeah. And that's the hard part, is not having people in your building. And I know takeout and delivery has been really, helped a lot of restaurants, but having that interaction or going up to the tables and talking to them and them seeing you, especially when you're a cornerstone in the community like yourselves.
Yeah, like we've really we've been doing some takeout and delivery, but the Old Triangle for 21 years has always been about the experience, food, it's music, it's interaction, it's what the Irish call crack. It's just having a good time, and that's a combination of food and music. We have live music 7 nights a week. We still do even now, even though it's costing us a fortune, because it's what we do. Like we're about creating an experience, and yes, our food's really good and it does well, but people come to us for the experience. So takeout really doesn't even come close to kind of saying who we are and what we are. So but we struggle on. I'm missing somebody. There you are. Oh, I can't hear you now, Jay.
I hit the button by accident, my fault. I was going to say, you also have another business as well, right?
Yes, we have. About 3 years ago, we bought a second kind of a restaurant and bakery called Edible Matters Food Company. We really liked the name, actually. And it's a little. It's not in the downtown core of Halifax. It's a little bit out in the suburbs, and yeah, and it's been interesting, the difference between those two places, because there was a bakery and we did some take-home meals. We actually pivoted Edible Matters during the lockdown more to that, like take-home meals, delivery. We expanded the bakery. We started bringing in like kind of gourmet style groceries and things like preserved lemons and things that you don't find in other places a lot, or at least not in our part of the world down here. And we've continued that. So we've actually transformed part of the space. It's a fairly large building into a permanent retail market as well. And like, you know, like gourmet food gadgets and eco-friendly, a lot of local products, like local honeys, local everything. If we can get something locally made cheeses, locally made meats. And we do still have the restaurant there as well, but we've really pivoted a lot of it towards kind of that, you know, Edible Matters, food, just food in general. Mainly things that we really like ourselves. And it's worked out really, really well. So it's been interesting kind of managing both those businesses in two different directions during the pandemic.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's really interesting. I was listening to a podcast last night just talking about the silver lining about some of these things that COVID has brought us. And I think it's quite interesting to hear businesses having to, you know, doing these things that maybe we wouldn't have done before, you know, COVID, and opening a second business and making it local. Those are just awesome stories to hear. Really cool.
Even from a business perspective, it's like the tightening up, you know, like we all know that, you know, you don't get into the food industry because you make a lot of money at it. I mean, the margins are incredibly small and shrinking daily, it seems, but learning how much you can tighten up and streamline when you really, really have to, even that's been, I think I could probably write a book on that now.
So what are some of those things? Like, was it a smaller menu?
Just a smaller menu, just tightening up on some staffing levels. You know, we had a couple of staff that ended up that left, you know, who had been with us forever. We still miss them, but they're older and they really don't feel comfortable being out in the public now, given the situation. So, you know, we managed to kind of streamline scheduling that way. You know, whereas before you kind of might have had a few more people on just because you liked having them around almost, you know, like, and in some ways it's been harsh but we've managed to do it in ways that kind of keep everyone happy and as many people gainfully employed as we can, you know. Like I said, we deal with full-time professional staff front and back of the house, you know, so, you know, and a lot of them have families. I mean, one of our staff had twins in the middle of the pandemic and lost both of his parents as well. Like, like it's crazy.
Yeah, that's devastation everywhere within those situations, right? Unbelievable. So what's your next step? What's your next plan here moving forward now that you're open?
Right now, surviving the winter.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, we all, especially in our part of the world, like it, you know, we all kind of tread water during the winter months. We always do. You know, you kind of build up the war chest through, you know, from St. Patrick's Day through tourist season, through Christmas parties, and then you spend the war chest staying alive for January, February, March until the next year starts. Unfortunately, we didn't get to build up much of a war chest this year, so it's just basically trying to survive and keep people employed, and you know, kind of, you know, stick with what you do, but try to do it better. But we have had fun with it as well. I mean, we have a bit of time now, and it's not as busy, so the chefs can play a bit more. We can play with recipes and tweak things that we've done in the past and try to do them better, and come up with new things as well. Like it's kind of fun at the same time, you know.
You know what's interesting is we've, you know, obviously I've interviewed a lot of people over the last year, and hearing and seeing you guys with these big smiles, and it's all restaurateurs. They have these big smiles. You know, they're somehow making it fun in a way of the things that you've been through, and unimaginable what you've been through.
Well, you kind of have to. I mean, there's some days where you don't want to wake up in the morning, you know, like, you know, or you wake up in the middle of the night and your brain starts to boot up and it's like, no, I want to go back to sleep, you know, because once you boot up, I mean, you just start thinking of all the things that are sticking in your head, like bank balances and wage costs and, you know, snow plowing costs and, you know, things that you have to try to survive, you know, till spring and until hopefully we see vaccines and see more of an upturn. But it's, yeah, I mean, but we get into this business because we love food and we love wine and we love, you know, the people. I mean, like I said, you don't get into this business because you wanted to make a ton of money. If I'd done that, I got into real estate instead. You know, you get into it because you love it, you know.
Well, you know, it's interesting. It's like that. It's like a different breed of people, right? We love entertaining people. We love helping in, you know, communities and supporting them with amazing food and great entertainments and all that. And it's just awesome to chat with you this morning. And Keep it going. We're rooting for you. We can't wait that the stores are all open and people are back into, because you have such a beautiful Irish pub restaurant. It is beautiful. How long has it been around, that building? You said
the building itself, I think, was built in the early 1800s, maybe even late 1700s. Yeah, it's a pretty old building. It's been around for a long time.
A lot of character.
It has tons of character.
It's seen a pandemic before too. So, well, we wish you all the best. Thanks again for dropping in today, sharing your story. You're smiling. I just love it. You guys are amazing out there. We can't wait to visit. And you know what? For everyone else, let's get out there. Now, they can go to your website. I recommend everyone checking out your website. I think it's oldtriangle.com.
Correct.
And check it out, because awesome stuff on there. You guys got beautiful food, beautiful Irish food. What's your favorite thing on your menu?
Honestly, it's not the most Irish thing on the menu. I have two favorites. Well, one is the Dublin pasty, which is puff pastry with chicken and leeks and ham and bechamel inside. It's delicious. And my other favorite thing is the barbecue chicken pizza. I'm personally not Irish. My husband's Irish. My children are Irish. I'm.
I get it.
Yeah.
I have Irish in my family too. We're good.
I think everybody does. It seems to be a thing.
Awesome. Well, all the best, Cheryl. Thanks again for dropping in.
Thank you
know what? Yeah, all the best out there. We hope to see you soon, and we can't wait to visit.
All right, and good luck to everybody else out there, all our fellow restaurateurs and entrepreneurs. So we need to stick together.
Absolutely. So thanks again, Cheryl. Take care, and we'll chat soon. So we have a next guest coming up here, and I'm super excited because learning a little bit about our next guest is going to be awesome. But I'm going to bring him right in here. We're going to cut to the chase, get in there, because it's about our customers right now and what they're dealing with out there. So welcome, Deepak.
Hello, and hello, everybody.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, good. I found the link this morning, and then I was like, okay, yeah, let's get ready for that.
That's awesome. First of all, that is a wicked hoodie.
Mm-hmm.
I like your hoodie.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we just got printed with our logo. I got to show you the back now since you've mentioned.
Oh, it's got, oh, no way.
Yeah.
Right on.
So with our logo and stuff. Yeah.
So, boy, I love it. I was going to wear my hoodie today, and I'm like, I got a footy hoodie, but we're going to send you one too. So you have a footy hoodie. But I do want to just say, hey, Deepak, thanks again for taking the time today. This is about you. We want to hear your story. But where are you located? Give us a little bit of insights where you're located and all that good stuff.
Well, I'm from Calgary, and then I originally started with a food truck, and then it actually been really productive and progressive. So, and also realized I used to work for like as a chef in a one continental kind of kitchen, and then they had an Indian section for the food, and they had a kiosk at a farmer's market, and then I approached for that, and I had that, and then all by myself, and then obviously I had my really good strong team along, that people from the beginning who kind of stood with me from like 2017, and yeah, it was a very adventurous journey so far. Like starting with the food truck made me adventurous enough, and dealing with all these different festivals, and like doing massive work, and then massive such as the at Calgary Folk Fest was one of the like high volume for us, where we did over the weekend around 3,500 meals, and then there was everyday solid hours for like 1 hour where we are serving 120 meals an hour. It's just having Indian food, curry and rice on site was in a high pace. So those all moments like kind of kept on encouraging from each and every angle. And I would say the luck was out there, and at the same time, all the experience throughout of my travel or what I have worked, like I worked in India. I started in 2007, and then I went to Asia and few different countries there, and then worked with different resorts. And when I came to Canada, like it's not long ago, 2014 when I came in, and So I worked with a couple different places, and those places had some experience with me, so that I can like begin with all the, and whether say knowledge or passion that I was carrying for Indian food, that I can bring it out. And then having a family support was also another advantage on the side. And then I began with, and so since I was in Canada altogether, I came in 2014, and I think Alberta was facing recession even at that time. And I think
Yep.
at that time it was even probably, if I'm not wrong, worse than pandemic at that time, because in pandemic still people got served money to spend at that time. The money was disappeared altogether. And I could see so many restaurants going down. But being a worker at that time, I could learn enough that what are the mistakes are happening around me in these restaurants. Like, obviously having no business is one of the big problem, but at the same time, what it could be that we could still survive, because at the end of the day, it's a food and people gotta eat, whoever left
Yep.
out there. And then so starting with the farmers market, it was a I call it like my laboratory, is like the amount of great, yeah, because I happened to do lots of experiments and like lab tests in there, and then such as like creating food in a such manner that still has a great quality, and then like something that when they eat it, it's like digestible, flavorful, or something they expect as feeling well treated at the same time. um, like one thing I learned from my hospitality management, like when you put a dollar sign on your item, the only way you put it is, it's not, is it for $10 or $20? No, it's for what you give to the customer. So if I'm taking $10, I make sure I give $10 back through my food. So it's a both sides winning. So those were kind of like learnings that I implemented, and like I'm surprised all of that worked together. And now I'm heading towards my other location in Calgary. I'm opening, because right now I have a kiosk at Crossroads Farmers Market. Crossroads Market is like a little market with lots of like farmers, local products, and other like local stuff with. And now we are opening on Center Street, and that'll be a store like
Wow.
also has been considered with pandemic, recession, all of that. So it will be a nice store for like 1,500 square foot, but it is mainly focused on, when you enter in, right side, it will be live kitchen, all 20 foot. And then on your left side, it will be still like groceries to go meals, frozen meals, or
Yeah.
all kind of marinated meats. So basically what you can take home. What I'm trying to mention here is that it's maybe not a time to sit down and have a big fancy meal. It could be restriction that obviously can't allow us to do that,
Yeah.
or it's like hey, I don't have that much money in my pocket, but I still gotta eat. So it's, I kind of feel that when we say like support local, support local, support local, at the same time being an entrepreneur, that goes on to me as well. Like I gotta support local too, but the way I can do it is by presenting like a great meals that when they eat it, they feel like well welcomed, right? And then they feel welcomed, and then at the same time, there is a great value of their every single dollar. And so that's why like I designed it in a way there will be still like 18 to 20, 18, yeah, 18 capacity to sit down and eat, but still there'll be no table service. I would rather cook good food, and then I'm sure if it's a good food by the great money value, you'll be able to come to the counter and pick up your meal, sit down, eat, and that's it. And then yeah, we'll do like a healthy relation.
You know what's interesting, Deepak, is that you're expanding, and that's why we want to do a lot of these shows with our customers and people that are in the industry right now.
Yeah.
Because to hear people that are expanding, where a lot of people close their doors or might have given up, you're actually doing the opposite, which even the customer before this was the same way. They opened another business as well. So to hear these different things, this is what's so great about uniting and hearing everyone support local, all these stories coming together, because people like yourself are moving forward and continuing to strive. And those are amazing things to do.
I would say it sure was like a fine balance to get into the market where all the like other restaurants when they were on the edge and then pandemic was heavy, whereas we were in the beginning. And it's like I count myself as like have being a little like a kiosk at the farmers market was it's like, you know, when the big storm comes, little grass get affected least. And then so that was kind of the story of me. So it was
Yeah.
like I don't have a big overheads, and it was food truck. It's like I when I spend money and I make money. So even it's on the venues, and so it was like pretty prepared kind of stuff. And then having kiosk was it's 160 square foot little kiosk, and
Yeah.
then but the amount of response we get from Calgary, I'm truly in love with my city and people. I feel that I owe them my best service, like to support me this much. And someone like me who just like showed up 6 years ago and now planning to open up not planning, it is opening in 2 months. And then there is another project we are doing with Calgary Farmers Market that is opening in 2022 in spring in the northwest of Calgary. So like I think this concept of like understanding the economy and the people, and it's just like all of this I would say is the one that making my passion even more. Otherwise I don't know how much like passion of fantasy could survive in this situation.
Yeah. You know what? That's awesome. And to be able to hear that passion, excitement, bringing in the community, uh, outstanding. Outstanding. So this past year, you've really taken the positives out of it, right? And I love the fact that little grass gets least affected in the storm. I'm going to use that, by the way. But it is it's awesome that you continue to move forward. So I, obviously, what would you say to other restaurateurs right now to continue to move forward? What's your advice, Deepak?
uh, I would say like what I've been noticing is that it's in a one answer, yes, it is a bad time, like having all those restrictions and the way economy is. But at the same time, I would say like the way I learned hospitality and management was like I'm a performer over the stage. So guys,
Mhm.
maybe right now the rock music is not out there. So we gotta change the tune and we gotta dance to the beat. And right now the beat is pretty like mellow and like so we gotta come up with some ideas. How can it's my same menu, same food that I'm famous for. How about I break it down such as like if I have um, a beautiful like steak or whatever, like obviously nobody's gonna take like steak home. By the time it goes home, it's like it's well done from rare. So how about if we start like some marinated meats, some starches, like a cooking almost kits where a lot of your work is to just prepare meals that people can take home, and still there is involvement because you don't want to leave that excitement part. Still, like if I just open the box and I eat it, now I'm comparing to you with all the takeouts, and
Mhm.
and especially having a beautiful entrees from a big restaurants. It
Yep.
may be not the way to serve just in a box, piling up my eggs benny with my pea shoots or whatever, just piling up on top like a pizza building. And so how about if something we prepare into three different little boxes or people take home and then they put it together, and then it's a fresh meal, they got their involvement, and it's not as expensive as your main entree could be. That's probably the way. And call on your communities. I mean, through your social medias, get involved. And I understand time is not right, but at the same time, in like in Titanic movie when the ship was crashing, one thing I love that the violins were still being played. They were still playing the violins, and like till the end, like they could till the end, like they were not like their strings are in the water.
Yeah.
So I would say if you have happen to be in the battlefield, you cannot afford to do anything less than a warrior. And I understand wounds are out there. We are still being stabbed, but the option is to fight, and the victory is will be there,
Yeah.
one way or
That's
the other.
awesome. I love the violin part too. They
Yeah.
keep playing until the boat goes down. Eh,
It's a
love
stage
that.
we are at. Like, we got an audience, and we got to perform. And so right now, as I said, like, it's not a rock music. So let's do it something in a way that is still like we are by the beat.
Yeah, that's awesome. So they can, I fully agree. And I love that insight. And, today's show and these shows that we're doing with our customers and hearing your stories, it really does inspire other people and it inspires businesses, inspires that. And that's why today we want to hear the positive, what people are doing and to continuing to move forward. And it's just outstanding to hear that because we've been doing a lot of interviews with customers since the beginning of COVID. And at the beginning, it was pretty rough to hear some of the stories. There still are to hear the stories out there, but finally hearing some amazing stories of what people changed and how, they took the good from it, right? And playing the violin till the end. That's awesome. You got to write a book.
I think I will. I've been asked many times. I was also a yoga teacher for yoga philosophy for
Oh,
like,
really?
so yeah. And then, so I think sometimes the philosophy comes together. I think if it is natural, I still kind of keep up my yogic balance. Then whether it's any situation, I never get too excited and I never get too nervous. Then whether it is any situation, so got to keep a balance, stay in the middle, and use the energy the way you need to, but stick to the neutral part. Yeah, the neutral brain can perform any task. Too excited and too nervous would be just like ice.
That is awesome. I'm getting people like text me saying you're awesome and everything. So
Love you all. It's the love. It's the reflection of all of you. Otherwise, I would be yawning by now.
That's awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome. So Deepak, can people go to your website? What is it? We got across the screen
So
there.
it's deepaksdhaba.ca, DEEPAKSDHABA.ca, and that's a website we're trying to build. And because online orders were coming, that's another thing. I encourage everyone to go with online because
Yep.
it has been a good response. And then yeah, so I'm more than happy to connect with anyone who would like to. I always love to connect people, and I think that was my passion. Otherwise, in 2007, when I started my hospitality, before that, I was in engineering, and it was just like too boring for me to sit by the drawing and like seeing like, okay, everything is happening by conduction. I'm not doing anything. I'm just pressing buttons. No, I wanted to be in action and be around people where I can express myself and encourage people, encourage myself, and serve them. And service is one of the great thing I learned from my religious practice too. So I feel that I learned it in my practice and religion, but now I owe to the whole planet. So here I am in Canada, and I will keep serving everybody, and it's just fun. I feel more alive, and I encourage everybody. Like, you will feel definitely more than yourself. It's like yeah, a big promotion in your own where you encourage people, and that smile, when it comes back to you, it
Yep.
amplifies you.
Oh, absolutely. And you have a good one too, by the way. It's pretty good. Anyways, Deepak, we have to run, but amazing stuff. Thank you for sharing your story. You know what? We love our customers so much and this industry so much that we just love hearing them and what you're doing, and positive vibes are great to have right now. And we all need it. So all the best. I'm in Edmonton, so I am going to drive down one of these days when we can move and we can actually travel and stuff, come down and visit and
Thank you.
grab some great grubs. So all the best. And we're all thinking of you. And we can't wait to hear after COVID on the amazing things that you're going to do and move forward. So all the
Looking
best.
forward. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank
You
you.
bet. Awesome stuff. So, folks, we're going to come back. Guess what? We're going to wrap up today. You know what? We're running quicker than we were yesterday, which is perfectly fine. That's the beauty about doing these shows. That we're not held to no script, so we can do what we want. So, anyways, we're gonna have more customer stories next week. Tons more to come, and really hearing them. I tell you, I'm hoping you get positive vibes, because hearing the great things from our two today is just outstanding. To hear the positive messages that comes from them. And we just can't thank them enough. They're great people, and get out there, support their industry, support takeout, do what you can. These restaurants are out there, are still moving forward, and we just got to get there and support them. So thanks again for tuning in today. And we'll see you next Wednesday. Actually, next Tuesday, we're going to do a little social media training and help everyone out with social media with one of our marketing managers out in Vancouver. And other than that, take care, get out there, support restaurants, and we'll see you next week.